Angie has made it easier than ever to hire high-quality pros to get all your home service jobs done well. Just bring them your project online or with the Angie app, answer a few questions, and Angie will connect you with local pros who match your specific needs. Or book a service instantly at an upfront price. So join the millions of homeowners who use Angie to care for their homes and get your next home service job done well. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
I don't have a picture of the roach, but I have
you're recording a video. Why don't you video it?
I did not. I had to kill it. It was...
Well, when you killed it and you got a video camera here and you're trying to get documentary evidence of just how vile she is and how righteous you are and asking her to leave because that's why you're videoing it, then I didn't video the roach because I killed it. Well, now you got plenty of time to video the roach and go, that's all you got to do.
This is the plaintiff, Vanessa Anchetta. She says the defendants, her former roommates, kicked her out of the apartment they once shared and basically left her homeless. That's right, they're uncaring and they owe her a ton of money. And she's here suing for every penny of the $5,000 she's owed. These are the defendants, Aaron McSterling and Brenton Brown. Aaron says the plaintiff rented a room in their apartment, and when she moved in, she damaged the floors and the walls. She also brought an excessive amount of stuff that didn't fit in her room, creating a fire hazard. Not to mention, the minute she moved in, they had a roach infestation, and they made her move out because she was a health hazard. Oh, or $5,000? That's ridiculous. They're accused of kicking a roommate to the curb.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated, come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn in.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Vanessa Anchetta, you are suing Aaron McSterling and Brenton Brown for $5,000 that you say they owe you for inappropriately kicking you out after only a few days when you moved in. Tell me what happened.
The beginning of September, end of August last year, I was looking for a room, and I found their ad on Craigslist. So I contacted Aaron to come and see the room. Brenton showed it to me. The next day, I emailed him a rental application, and then a few days later, I exchanged keys with Aaron and also gave him a money order for 1 month's rent deposit as well as a $25 pet deposit.
So how much did you convey?
In total, $1,290 plus $290 for the money order fee.
$1,290, is that correct?
It was $1,390.
$1,390?
I only gave him $290. On the lease, there's a typo that says $1,390.
Okay.
That can be.
That's a first. All right, go ahead.
Sorry.
No.
So
don't be sorry that you're honest. I virtually insist upon it when I put people under oath. Yes. Okay. Go ahead.
I moved in on September the 14th. Late at night. I told him that I would be there late at night. Then I was a little bit behind schedule because it took a little bit longer for my
What
stuff
time
to
did you
move
tell
in.
him you'd be there?
I told him I'd be there around 10 o'clock. I showed up around 11:30, but I let them know ahead of time that I was running late, and he said that would be fine, that he would have to be awake to open the door for me, so if I could hurry up. Then when I got there, we were moving our things. He said we were making too much noise. Me, my brother, and a friend of mine that was helping me move my things.
Okay.
They said that we were making too much noise and that we wouldn't be able to move our things until the morning. So that night, my brother actually had to sleep in the U-Haul truck, and my friend and I fell asleep on the couch. The next day, we moved in our things. My brother left and my friend left. They told me later on that day that my dog was clearly becoming a nuisance.
Okay, you moved in with a dog?
Yes. That they also had 3 other dogs in the apartment. already living there before I did.
Go on.
I also have a picture of my dog on that first day when we moved in, sleeping with the other dogs. They didn't fight or anything like that.
Let me see that.
Those are my dogs. My dog is the white one in the center,
Right.
and their 3 dogs are around.
Yeah,
They're
I
just
see.
sleeping on. That's the first day that I moved in. I was just happy that my dog had friends to play with, so I took a photo.
Okay.
Then the next day, I got a knock on my door, and they told me that they saw a roach, and they had to come for me, that they'd never seen roaches before. So they told me they were giving me 3 days notice, as per the lease that I signed.
Did you sign a lease that said that they could give you 3 days notice?
Yes, but I also thought that was a typo, since the amount
Let me
that I
see
paid
the
them.
lease.
Okay.
You thought it was a typo, so you saw it before you signed it?
Yeah.
Why didn't you change it if it was a typo?
I didn't think that it would be this much of an issue, and as far
Are
as
you
I
kidding
know,
me? I mean, I would never sign this. I got to give them 30 days, but they can just boot me out in 3? How are you going to move in 3 days? Why would you see this and sign this? Why didn't you say no? You were desperate to find a place for you and your dogs.
sort of, yeah,
Yeah. How'd that work out?
not so good.
Not so good, because on day what, they told you you need to go.
I believe the second day or the third day that I moved in,
And what did they say to you?
that they were just giving me 3 days notice to move out.
Okay, let me hear your side, please. How much was the rent that she was paying?
$775.
Okay, and how much was the security deposit that she was giving you?
$775 plus a prorated charge.
And the prorated rent for that month was what that you charged her?
It was-
515?
Okay, yes.
Is that right? Sound right? Okay, and so what happens with her that you ask her to leave so quickly? And first of all, where did you guys get this, like, she gives you 30 days and you give her 3?
But we didn't have any intentions of her actually moving out in 3 days.
Until you did, and then you had no compunctions about telling her, get out, you know? All right, so why did you want her to get out?
So it was just a lot of things that happened so quickly. She moved in at 1:30 in the morning, not 11:30, and she was making a banging noise on each step as she went up.
Okay, so but that happened and that passed. That's not a
So-
reason to ask a tenant to leave. So what was the reason that you asked your tenant to leave?
She took over our apartment. She moved all of her stuff into our kitchen, most of her stuff into our kitchen. There was tons of canned foods all over the counter, pots and pans.
Why is that unreasonable? She's a roommate who uses that
I
kitchen
understand,
too.
but we keep things very clean and orderly. Her room was beyond messy, where it was a fire hazard. I have a video of her room.
Okay, let's see that.
Okay.
Is this an apartment in an apartment building?
A private house.
Private house? Okay.
Yes.
It's like a horror show.
Yeah.
This is inside her room.
That's inside her room.
Okay.
And the
it's
doggy
a disaster zone. I would be so afraid of rooming with her. What is this? Seriously, that's a lot of stuff.
I kind of like to unpack everything, that way force myself to put
Unpack
it away.
everything. It looks
on
like
the
you
first
shook a
day.
box open and dropped in.
Yeah, that's what I did. I threw all the boxes away because I didn't realize I would be moving out so soon.
Like, how are you even walking in that room?
So the next day, I'm recording a video, and I'm noticing a roach coming from under her door.
Do you have proof of that?
I don't have a picture of the roach, but I
You're
have
recording
a
a video. Why don't you
conversation.
video it?
I did not. I had to kill it. It was...
Well, when you killed it and you got a video camera here and you're trying to get documentary evidence of just how vile she is and how righteous you are and asking her to leave because that's why you're videoing it, then I didn't video the roach because I killed it. Well, now you got plenty of time to video the roach and go, that's all you got to do, because now when you don't do that and you're this exacting about collecting your evidence, you make me think there's no roach and that you're just throwing that in for good measure.
Okay.
Which, after not returning her money, throwing that in for good measure, makes you really tiny people. But here's the problem. See, the problem that you have is you signed a lease that said they have to give you 3 days notice. A lot of the things you're suing for, too bad, so sad. That's what you do when you sign a lease that says they have to give you 3 days notice. Like you're suing for the additional U-Haul and the addition. No, that's what you bought when you signed that lease.
Your Honor, they wouldn't even let me keep my shampoo in the bathroom. When I left to go to the store, I came back and there was a pile of my things.
Is there someone living there
in front of
now
my door.
in that other room?
Yes.
Who is it?
Our son,
Who's how old?
16 years old.
All right, let's go over the things you're suing for. You're keeping her security because when she moved out, according to you, she damaged.
Yes,
What did she
we do
damage?
have proof of that.
The wall, there's a wall in the hallway that she put pretty nasty holes in.
How did that happen?
There was one hole, and it was because they were rushing us to move out at a certain time, and my brother was trying to help me to move things along.
I wouldn't be complying with their rush orders at this point. Why were you? I mean, that's just negligence. You shouldn't hit the wall.
Anyway, my brother was helping me move the couch.
Who is the gentleman with you? Is that your brother?
That's my boyfriend.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
My brother was helping me move the couch downstairs to kind of move things along. I also had professional movers, but my brother's not really in peak physical shape, so he kind of dropped the couch. It made a small hole.
He's going to be angry with you. He's helping you move, and you're telling America he's not in peak physical shape? What kind of sister are you?
He did drop the couch, and he made a small hole, which I have a picture of as well.
Not a small hole, baby cakes.
Right. That's
a small hole to you? That's enormous.
I would say like about that.
Yeah, it's enormous. Holy gouged a wall. All right. Do you have any estimates to fix that?
No.
So then why are you keeping her entire security deposit? You would have to prove that costs $775 plus $515 to fix.
Well,
plus another $775. How much of her money did you guys keep? All of it?
Yes.
Yes.
Really? How much is that, gentlemen?
The $1,290.
You kept $1,290 for the hole?
That's more than one hole. If you just scroll, you'll see more damage.
You guys are awful.
Also,
you're awful people. You're awful. You're awful.
Roaches.
Look at that. So, okay, there's 2 holes. This needs fixing. You know what honest people do? They go out, they get a legitimate estimate for fixing it, not a bloated one. And then they say, okay, it's going to cost us $300 to fix it. Because that's drywall. I know exactly how this is fixed. I'm from a construction family. Expensive side, it's going to be $300 to fix it. It's never going to be $1,200 to fix it. But you guys not only kicked her out after 3 days because, ew, she's messy, but also kept their money. It's horrible that you treat other people like that.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, is it sketchy that he didn't videotape the roach?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you know what? That's pretty much what I think.
Of course.
I mean, wouldn't it be? It's a star piece of evidence, right?
There's no evidence. What's the point?
Well, what would he bring a roach into court and say, this was the roach I got?
That's disgusting.
Well, no, that's not my... It is disgusting, but it's not supported by going inside the courtroom.
Would you like to be treated like this?
I think she was treated very fairly.
Really? You think that that's a $1,300 hole?
It's not just that.
No.
It was just
what proof do you have that that's a $1,200, $1,300 hole?
None.
We don't have it.
So then how do you think that that's fair? You need to look inside your hearts and feel bad about what you did to another human being. Let's go over your damage. No, stop. How many days were you there?
I moved my things in on the 14th, the 15th, and then I moved out on the 22nd. So about a week.
You're suing for the U-Haul to move out. You're suing for the U-Haul to move in. The U-Haul to move in was something that you would have to pay for. The U-Haul to move out is also something you would have to pay for. That's not something they have to pay for unless you show they wrongfully, they didn't give you enough time, they wrongfully locked you out or something like that. You were there the amount of time you could be there, the 3 days notice.
Okay.
And because since that's what you signed, that's not something they would have to pay. You're suing for a storage unit after you moved out. For the same reasons, that's not something they would have to pay. This is why you don't sign a lease that says you get 3 days. And emotional distress, why the emotional distress?
Since I only had 3 days to move out, if I didn't know where I was staying, then I don't know what I would do with my dog, so I actually had to give her away.
I'm sorry that ended up happening, but maybe emotionally and morally it's on them, but legally it's certainly not.
Okay.
You didn't have a lot of options. I understand that. And I also understand that their failure to be decent human beings and give you back your security, figure out how much that hole was and figure out how much you're entitled back to, that put you in a bad position trying to find another place. I understand that. All right. According to you, you moved out September 22nd? Is that correct?
That's correct.
That's correct.
According to your contract, you should be paying rent for that. Then I'm looking at the damage that occurred there, and since nobody bothers to bring me an estimate of what that is, what am I going to do now?
We're going to do a little rough justice.
Rough justice. And so I'm going to estimate what I think it would cost to fix that, which you may or may not like. And I'm going to estimate that that's going to cost a bit. Okay, I'm going to put the estimate for that repair, certainly not at what they did, which is everything you gave them, but I think that that's going to cost a good $400 because it's all the way down the wall. It's not just that one hole. They've got to patch the hole. They've got to paint. They've got to, there's some work that needs to be done there. In fact, they might even have to put the piece of drywall. So I'm estimating that at $400, and I'm ordering the defendants to repay the plaintiff the sum that's left over, which is $780. Okay? Good luck.
Wow, $400 to fix that hole. You guys got pretty lucky. Step on in here, right next to him, okay? Right there. What's your reaction to this outcome here?
The judge was pretty fair, even though she broke the lease. She breached the lease.
Right. Judge also called you horrible people for trying to
that's her opinion.
Steal her money.
That's her opinion.
Okay. All right, step on in here. What's going through your mind as you come out of here?
Well, I don't think I got as much as I'm entitled to, but I'm glad they at least have to pay some of it back.
Mm-hmm. What are you doing signing a lease that says they can kick you out in 3 days?
I just thought that it was a typo since there was another typo in the lease. And I didn't think that we would have these kind of problems when I signed it, so.
Mm-hmm. All right. What do you think, Harvey?
Okay, Doug, just so you know, Kurt, lots of states will actually give a tenant 2 to 3 times the actual amount of the security withheld if the landlord withholds it improperly. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Angie has made it easier than ever to hire high-quality pros to get all your home service jobs done well. Whether it's routine maintenance, an emergency repair, or a dream project, Angie lets you compare quotes from multiple local pros, browse homeowner reviews, and even book a service instantly. Angie's been connecting people with skilled pros for nearly 30 years. So the next time you have a home project, bring it to Angie to get your job done well. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
This is the plaintiff, Amy Grady. She says the defendant is her daughter, who she loaned money to, and now can't seem to get her to pay back the loan. Her unappreciative daughter has the money to throw a big party, so she must have the money to pay her back. And daughter or no daughter, she's here seeking justice and the return of her hard-earned $900. This is the defendant, Tori Grady. She says her dear mother asked her if she could claim her daughter on her taxes, and in exchange, she gave her $900. It's very sad that her mother's now claiming the money was a loan, and it's very sad they're here in court, and it's very sad because she simply did not borrow the money. She's accused of creating Momma-Drama.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff is suing her daughter for money that she owes her, but the defendant says they made a deal. The plaintiff got an income tax deduction using the defendant's kid, giving her $900. It's the case of 1040, over and out.
Thank you, Douglas. Amy Grady?
Yes.
You are suing your daughter, Tori Grady, for $900, an amount that you say she, I guess, stole from you by not giving it back to you.
Exactly.
Tell me what's going on.
Okay, which and Tori's my daughter, right? And so Tori, she resides at a shelter, right? And so when she went into the shelter, which in her case manager had told Tori, like she had to start saving money once she got a job. Excuse me, once she got a job, in which in Tori, she works, you know?
Okay, Tori, what do you do for a living?
I work at Target.
Okay, and why does the case manager say to you you have to start, other than that it's a good idea, what was the goal?
So I can save to get my own apartment. So when it's time to move out.
And when you say to get your own apartment, you mean with public assistance, correct?
Yes.
The government helps you to pay for, but they want you, before they put you in that situation, take you out of a shelter and help you to pay for an apartment, they want to know that you are responsible about your money.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so they demand, when you're working, that you save $50 a month, correct?
A week.
A week, I'm
Yes.
sorry, $50 a week. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's what they tell you, and then what happens?
Okay, so, which in, she knew she's supposed to have saved this money, right? Which in, I guess she disregarded it because she didn't save any money.
How much were you making a week?
$360.
Okay, do you have children?
Yes, 2.
How old are they?
I have an 11-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son.
Okay. and go on.
Okay, so which is she didn't save the money, so it was time for almost recertification.
Okay, what were you doing with the money? Because the shelter's paying for your housing, right? You don't have to pay.
Yes.
And so what were you doing with the $350 a week?
I get paid bi-weekly, so
Okay.
I was basically buying food and everything because I do not eat that food in there. It's not good. So I buy my kids food, I buy them what they need, and
you couldn't save. What did you save?
Well, right now I got like $500 saved.
No, not right now. At the point where you needed your mother's help, what had you saved?
Nothing.
Nothing?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
So then she had came to me, right? So she said, "Ma, it's almost time for my recertification in the shelter. So, and you know, like I supposed to have $900, right? So which is she didn't have the $900. That's why she came to me and asked me. So okay, but when she came to me, she asked me, did I want to claim my granddaughter? Which and I had my grandchildren like almost 2 years, like last year, 2014, and so I was like saying no because Tori's having problems as far as receiving her return from IRS, you know. So I was like, I don't know about that, Tori. You know, me claiming Tanaya, but by my knowledge now, I know.
Okay, I'm sorry, but what do you mean by you claiming Tanaya was
like if I were to claim Tanaya and I get my refund back, like you know, like I can.
Right, but did you have Tanaya?
No, not at that time. No.
Right. I mean, I don't mean at that time. At the time that covers the taxes that you're filling out.
Yes, I did. I had it 2014. Yes, I did.
Well, then why wouldn't you claim her on your taxes if that's
because the judge, you know, because we went back to court and they gave her back her rights to her kids. So me not, you know.
What does that have to do with when you fill out your taxes? What they're asking is during the year in question,
right.
Which I guess you're talking about 2014.
Right.
Did you have a dependent? And you're saying you did.
Yeah, I had the kids.
Is that true? Did she have them in 2014?
July 2014, me and my kids went into the shelter.
Okay, so she had them for part of the time?
Yes.
Okay, so she had suggested to you to claim Tanaya for the whole year.
Right.
All right, and what? And that was going to be the trade-off for the $900?
Like, yeah, something like that, yes.
So if you didn't have that $900, then you would have to
send
what?
me back. They was going to have me do the whole...
kind of important that you would have saved the money that you were supposed to save, huh?
Yes.
And so, okay, so I said, okay, Tori, I'm going to do you a favor. I said, if I go to the bank and withdraw $900 out of my account, but first I asked her, the $900, if I loan you this $900 to show to your case manager, he's not going to keep this money order that I'm going to go get for you. She said, no, Ma, he's not going to keep it. She said, I'm going to bring it back to you the same day because of even...
Oh, so then you said to her, let me help you scam the case manager and fool the case manager into thinking that you are a good risk for government housing as opposed to the person who actually was saving the money and doing without in order to get to their goal. Is that right?
I was helping her in the
it sounds really bad when I say it, right? Okay, so go on.
So I went and gave her the $900, right? So she had her interview with her case manager, and okay, he made a copy of the money order to show that she had the $900. But which one she's supposed to have brought me the $900, that money order back that day, and she said that she was, but she didn't. She spent the money.
How do you know?
Because I seen it, because when I called Tori and I said, Tori, so where's my money? She said, I'm gonna bring it to you. I'm gonna bring it to you with like an attitude. And so when Tori talks like nasty towards me, I know that she already has spent my money.
What's your daughter spending the money on?
She spent the money on her and her kids.
What happened with the money?
Would you sue your daughter if she stiffed you?
Yes, I would, because if she asks to borrow it, she's entitled to pay me back.
Okay, fair enough. Would you sue her?
No, I wouldn't sue her.
Because?
She's my daughter. She's my family.
But she's disrespecting you by saying, I'm not going to pay you back.
Correct. Well, we'll talk about it. Over time, I think we'll...
This was the time to talk about it. Okay, we'll talk later. Going inside the courtroom.
I did cash the money because at that time, my job messed up with my debit card that they sent in the mail, and I took some of the money, and I thought that week that I would get paid and I could put it back in, return the money order to my mom, but that didn't happen. It took them a week to pay me out for my job, and I had like $780 of the money left, and she thought that I spent all of it when I didn't.
I'm sorry, you're here because you didn't pay any of it to your mother back.
Yes.
So I'm just curious, why haven't you paid any of it to your mother back?
I mean, I was going to give the $900 back to my mom, but
Then what happened?
My check got messed up.
And then what happened? Because a long time has
And
passed.
then me and my mother got into it, and then I just took it upon myself.
So tell me about you and your mother getting into it.
We start arguing about the money. And she was telling me how wrong I was, and she's always there for me. And she was very disappointed what I did.
Right.
Yes.
And that was somehow not... So that's why you didn't pay her? Because she pointed out your shortcomings?
Yes.
Really?
I mean,
yeah, it sounds awful when I say it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, did you end up calling her case manager?
I had called to ask him, did he make a copy of that money order that Tori had presented to him? And he said yes. And I asked him, could he send me a copy of it? And he said no, he needed authorization from Tori.
What did you want a copy of it for?
So I can have it when I come to court to show that I had, gave her that $900.
Honest to God. What's going on now with your housing situation?
I've received Section 8. I'm about to move into an apartment.
What do you think they're going to do when they hear this? Let me tell you, too, the many things that are going through my head. All right? There are people out there who are standing in line to get the benefits that you are getting, who need help. And they're trying to do everything right. They're saving up that money. But you go ahead and spend every penny, and then when it's time to show that you're responsible, you scam in order to show that you're responsible. And it makes me want to get up off this bench and... All right? Now, the government is going to help you to get your place because you've essentially cut in front of all the other people trying to do it right, who there's a consequence for when they don't. Now let me tell you how I feel about you. You can't wait to help her cut the line. So when I look at both of your acts and I say, whose is worse? My God, at least she was trying to help her daughter. What do you do to the woman who tried to help you and your kids? You spend the money. What is wrong with you? Put your big girl panties on and act like a woman and a mother. Do you understand me?
Yes.
And pay your mother back. $900 verdict for the plaintiff.
Well, let's first talk to the defendant. Come on out here. Tell me, you feel any shame or embarrassment about, trying to scam that way?
I do feel a little bad.
You feel bad?
Yes.
What's it like to be in the courtroom and be on the opposite side of your mom in a court case like that?
It feels bad because that's my mom, and she always do help me, and what I did was wrong.
Okay, all right. Follow Officer McIntosh around the corner there. All right, there's a contrite daughter of yours. What kind of example are you setting?
Well, I thought I was helping her, but I'm sorry that it had to come to this, that we had to come to court, for me to get my money.
So you are setting a good example for her then, is what you're saying?
Me helping her, yes, so she didn't have to start all over.
All right. What do you think, Harvey?
Please. I got to say, Kurt, this case is kind of hopeful because we usually don't see litigants admitting they were wrong. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Antonio Pascoa. He says the defendant, a friend of a friend, stiffed him on repair work he did for her car. And he's not about to work for free for anybody. This woman has some nerve because she took off on him, stranding him on the side of the road 18 miles from home when he delivered her fixed car to her house. Friend of a friend or no friend, he's suing for every penny of the $567.66 he earned. This is the defendant, Dina Castro. She says the plaintiff didn't fix anything. In fact, he did more damage to it. She had to pay a new mechanic $600 to fix the things he did wrong. And he's off his little rocker if he actually thinks she's going to pay him for making her mechanical matters worse. She's accused of taking off.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant stiffed him on car repair work, but the defendant says the plaintiff made a bad problem worse. It's the case of, I got 99 car problems, and you're one of them.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Antonio Pascoa?
Yes.
You are suing Dina Castro for $567.66 in labor and parts for fixing her car that, according to you, she has not paid a penny of. Tell me what happened.
Well, a friend of mine called me, for a long time, he used to be our friends too, said if I want to do the job for her.
And how are you trained to do this job?
Well, I'm an ex-mechanic. I'm disabled right now because for a long time, my injured back, lower back. So once in a while I do, I have all my tools, I have all my everything. Once in a while I do a little side job to help me. So he explained to me very much what was the problem with the car. I said, yeah, I need to see the car. So I went to see the car on the Sunday, and I told him, I can't see much. I have to take the car home. I have to, because, somebody else told her it will be $1,200 to replace master cylinder, water pump, power steering. I said, well, it only is the noise on the power steering. So I took the car home, priced the car, pulled the wheels out, checked the master cylinder was fine, checked the water pump was fine, the car was overheating, the problem was the thermostat was broken, the power steering was making noise, the rear wheel cylinders were leaking brake fluid. So I went and checked all the parts because I have this friend, they have a body shop, he authorized me to use his body shop to get the parts cheaper. So that's what I got it. I didn't make any extra money on the parts. And she called me and I explained everything. And I said, you can save on the road.
So just to be clear, did you ever give her a receipt? Did you have her sign anything or no?
No.
All right. So there's nothing in writing between the two of you?
No.
So now don't just tell me, list for me number one, what you did. You changed her brake pads.
Changed the brake pads.
What else?
Changed the rear wheel cylinders. Changed the thermostat. Changed the power steering pump.
Okay.
Changed the V-belt.
Change the power steering pump.
Also, oil change. She asked me that extra. And glue the rear view mirror on the windshield, the little pad to hold the rear view mirror.
Okay. How long did it take you to do all of it?
Well, it was in January, and it was cold, it was raining, it was snow. It took me 3 weeks to do that because I was so cold.
Did she know it was going to take you 3 weeks?
No, I didn't expect it.
Did she think it was going to? How long did she think it was going to take?
I didn't. I didn't.
What, you didn't tell her how long it was going to take?
It take maybe 2 weeks. I told her maybe 2 weeks. But because of the cold, and she called me and I said, "Listen, I'm sorry. It's so cold. I can go fast. I have to wait till noon, 1 o'clock to warm up a little bit and do the job." So 3 weeks later, everything was done. You
drive it to her house, and there's a little problem on the way to her house.
And then, because it was cold, I did the mistake. The hose who feed the power steering pump was a little twisty, and blew, cut right at a place.
At her house?
Yeah.
So there's oil all over her driveway because what?
It was some oil on the driveway because it spilled the power steering oil because of the...
Okay. So how many more weeks did she have to be without a car?
1 more week. So I took the car right away because I don't want to, spill all over the driveway. And I went home, I went to check what happened. Then she called me. I said, listen, it was my mistake. The hose got a little twisted and it touched on the belt, and the belt cut. That's why it spilled. But
okay, so you fix that, and a week later you bring the car back to her. And what happens?
The 30th of January, I bring the car. I say, everything's fine, everything's done, everything's good. So she came, pick her up the car.
Wait, she picked up the car or you brought it to her?
No, I brought it to her. I put it in the driveway.
Okay.
And she said to me, I'm going to road test. Okay. She went inside. She locked the door. She took off. She never came back. I wait.
She went inside. She locked the door. You mean she went inside the car?
Inside the car.
And locked the door.
Locked the door. I expect
went to test drive it, but she never came back.
I expect her to say to me, come to the passenger side. Let's go around the block test. No. Jump inside, lock the door in. She took off. That's it.
How long did you wait for her?
Almost 2 hours. It was cold. I wasn't prepared for that cold. I was waiting for my friend. My friend was late, so I started walking up and down the street to warm up. And I saw
so your friend was coming to pick you up anyway.
Supposed, but he was late. So I look at taxi. I waved the taxi. I said, take me home. And he took me home where I live. And then I called my friend and said, listen, don't bother to pick me up.
Did you have her cell phone number?
Yes.
So did you call her when she wasn't coming back?
No.
Okay, so when did you call her after this?
Never.
Because now but
Never.
how are you not call her? When were you going to get paid? You gave her the car, she never came
I
back.
told her how much you're going to be in parts. We will agree.
That's not my question. That would be the answer to, did you ever tell her how much it was going to be? My question is, when were you planning on getting paid if you gave her the key and she took off?
I was planning to drive the car and take time. And since I spent almost a month, very much, I figured out, well, maybe in a month you're going to pay me. And that's after a month, that's when I did a list, all the parts, the price, the labor, and the copy of the receipt, because you want to copy the receipt.
What's going on and why haven't you paid this man?
Why the car wasn't fixed, Your Honor. As soon as I get inside the car, I couldn't turn the wheel, the power steering that he's saying that he's fixing. I don't know if he fixed it or what, but it wasn't working. And I have another job. When he came back with the car last time, I took it to the mechanic and he gave me a diagnosis. That's why I
Did you ever pay to have it fixed?
Yeah. Here is the
Show
invoice.
me. No, that's a diagnosis. I want to see that you really paid to have it fixed. Because all that.
This is an invoice.
Let me see the document you have to make sure it's the same thing I already saw. Hand it to my bailiff. How did you pay? You paid and you had this done. How did you pay for that?
I pay cash.
Good. Then you'll have a receipt because nobody pays $600 almost in cash and doesn't have a receipt. So show me your receipt.
That's a receipt.
Okay, this doesn't say paid. This doesn't have your signature on it. This is not a receipt. But I presume that if you paid them, they have a record that you paid them, right? So if I call them, they're going to tell me, yes, that work was done here, and she paid for it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, did you ever call him and say it's still not fixed?
When I get home and he wasn't there.
How much later did you get home?
Not even 30 minutes, 20 minutes.
Okay, so did you call him?
I called him. I called the other friend that was supposed to pick him up. They never answered me. They didn't even get back to me.
Have you guys talked after that day? Okay.
I called and he never answered me, the phone call.
So you would call him and he wouldn't answer, even though he wants to get paid. Instead of answering your call, he went to the courtthhouse. All right.
She never called me.
Of course not, because you want to get paid. But what I don't understand is why don't you call her? That was so weird.
I was so nervous, so.
How about that mutual friend that you guys have? Did that person?
My friend told me I'm going to talk to her.
And did he?
He called twice. He never answered.
She never answered his call.
She never answered. Matter of fact,
did you know that she had taken it to somebody else to get fixed?
I don't know, because before she didn't have no mechanics. No mechanic can fix the car. That's why she called my friend. And my friend
What was the date that you delivered the car to her?
The 30th of January. On a Saturday.
You didn't have this taken, if this is to be believed, you didn't have this taken over until a month later. It was not right away. It was a month later.
The car was good.
I couldn't drive the car.
The car was good.
Oh, I'm sorry. Why was it a whole month later?
I didn't have a mechanic. I didn't know what to do with the car. I was about to get rid of that car.
See, if I can't drive a car, I would be calling the person who just fixed it and telling him, look, he still didn't fix. I mean, there would be some, I don't understand how this goes on or doesn't go on. It's so crazy to me.
Your Honor, this is what he presented to me asking to get paid.
So what? Listen, lady, you know you hired an alley mechanic. Don't complain that you hired an alley mechanic. All right? You know that you were getting it done cheaper by taking it to him. Now, all of a sudden, no, this is so unprofessional. This is what he presented to get paid. Court's in recess.
All rise.
Are most car repair shops on the up and up or shady?
They're shady.
What do you say?
Well, they can get parts from anywhere, and you don't know where anything's coming from, so.
You can say that about a dentist, really, right?
Yeah, you can get it from like the dumpster.
Okay, but that, are they shady or are they on the up and up general?
You know, I don't own a car, but I think they might be on the up and up. I don't know.
Okay, well, you have no basis for saying that.
Yeah.
Going inside the courtroom.
Thank you. Have a seat, please.
Okay, so I contacted Autobahn Tuning. They are a real company. They do exist. She did take the car there, and she did pay this. But according to him, the reason why it had to be replaced is because the part was faulty. These parts are remanufactured. They can bust at any time. The parts that you bought them through an auto body place, you said?
No. Through my friend Auto Body, he allowed me use his name, his company, to get the parts list from the auto
parts. From where? From the auto body parts?
I have copies. I have the original receipt.
So are they warranted?
Yes, that's why.
Right.
She was...
Exactly. What you needed to do was be a human being, and instead of ignoring him and ignoring the friend and not talking to anybody and not paying for anything, what you needed to do, if there was still a problem, was communicate with him and give him an opportunity to have that place replace that part. But I asked, is there anything faulty in the labor, anything that he did? And their answer was no. And there's so much more the guy did for you besides that. It's just amazing to me that you decided
I did a lot, ma'am.
that he should be paid zero. When, according to what he did and what you got redone, had nothing to do with faulty workmanship on his part. It was the part, and the part is under warranty. And what this guy did is just sell you a different part and put it under warranty. Same thing that he did. But instead of going through the warranty, you decided to just never speak to him or your other friend again, and then go ahead and put it and get it all done again.
Your Honor.
No, we're done. You have to pay the man, because that's how it works. $567.66, verdict for the plaintiff.
Because the plaintiff gets paid what he deserves. So what's your reaction to this?
Well, unfortunately, I couldn't explain myself in a very short time. I didn't have a contact to him. And the last time when he told me to pay him, he says, pay me anything. And I said, send me a receipt. And he sends me a receipt just a month later, and now we're here.
What'd you leave him standing there for?
What you mean?
All right, never mind. Just head right around the corner this way. All right, come on in here. You get your money. What happened?
Yes. Well, the situation with the winter. And
you satisfied you got your money finally?
I'm satisfied. Also I sent her a letter, specified all the job, and the letter said, submit payment and this amount to, I put my name, my address, my everything.
All right, so next time somebody test drives the car, you're going to go with them?
I was thinking she was going to invite me in the car to go with her, but she jumped inside and she locked the door and she took off.
Exactly. Harvey?
Okay, you should look at your warranty for any car before you bring it in, because there is a huge difference in almost every one of these warranties between labor and parts.